If you're a coach who loves to train clients and you're looking to increase your client load with premium clients, but you're also wanting to get out of the dollar per hour model and you want to help more people more consistently, and you're tired of living in that feast and famine cycle of launching and cash infusion and ready to generate more consistent and predictable and sustainable income that uses a combination of both passive and present opportunities, meaning you get paid whether you are there present talking to someone or while you're sleeping. And you want to do it without being sleazy, without applying pressure, without launching, and without attracting freebie seekers who don't buy, then tune into today's episode because we're about to dive into the step-by-step blueprint to consistent 10K months without launching, without being sleazy, and without attracting freebie seekers. What's up, coach? Thank you so much for joining me in another episode of the PT Profit Podcast. I'm your host, Beverly Simpson, a former district fitness manager for a national gym, also responsible for building 2 multiple six-figure businesses online, and I have learned a thing or two, and I'm bringing it to you today. Now, I have created the complete 10K blueprint, a private audio training, which is 10 nothing to purchase audios where you can go deeper in some of the concepts that we are going to be talking about today. So I'll be sure to link that up in the show notes in case you don't have access to that private audio training. So hopefully you're just as excited as I am, because if you're new and you've never heard of me before, then some of my previous audios or my previous podcasts I have shared that I used to be in this feast or famine cycle of launching, where I was constantly in 90-day cycles, which I still practice this, which we're going to dive into today. But I would be in 90-day cycles and I would have one launch and I would spend all this time trying to add value, building no like and trust, and the pressure to be successful just kept building. Then I would do these big, massive launches and I would either hit my targets or I wouldn't, but regardless whether I hit them or not, I always felt disappointed, deflated, and this caused me to focus on all of the people that said no, and the truth, most people will say no, instead of the people that said yes. So instead, in 2022, I flipped my business on its head. I completely stopped launching. I moved to an evergreen model, which uses a combination of free, low ticket, and high ticket offers so that I could help more people in a completely pressure-free, permission-based sales system that takes what it takes until it takes. And now I help my clients do the same. So some of the questions that keep coming up are, how do I make sales every single day when I'm not launching? Meaning, how do I create urgency and encourage people to make a buying decision today when there's no deadlines, when they can purchase every single day? So now as we dive in, there are 4 key components that we need to address before we go into setting up this pressure-free permission-based system. Number 1, in order to take someone who's never heard of you before and turn them into a customer or client, we need to be sure we're answering these 4 questions. Number 1, why should they listen to you? So think of this as your authority and expertise statement. They're not the same thing. Haven't you ever known someone who has more authority but less expertise than you? The truth is they're not believing in trusting whether or not you're a good person. They need to know that you are the coach for them and that your process is going to work. So will this work is the second question. Will this work for me is the third question. Because most really smart, well-meaning coaches miss this. And people are evaluating, what is the level of effort and sacrifice required on my part? Am I going to be able to do this? Am I too new? Is it too advanced? They're making decisions about whether or not they can do it. And then, do I need this now? Answer those 4 questions at any point on the customer journey, and you will turn someone who's never heard of you before and turn them into a customer or client. Now, with that in mind, in order to set up this sales system that works and that takes what it takes until it takes, you also need to have your offer stack. And if you're curious about what that is and how to create that, then definitely check out the free blueprint, because I go deeper into what those offers actually are, where you put them inside of your sales system. So make sure you are clear on what that offer stack is. Now, when you are creating that offer stack, in addition to answering those 4 questions, you also need to know, what is the specific problem your client is in? What is the specific outcome that they want? What is the specific way that you help them get there? And who is that specific person? When you do this, those principles, essentially of what we just talked about, meaning the specificity in problem, outcome, person, and process, answering those questions about your authority, will the process work for them and will it work for them now? And then doing it on a repeat in a strategic, systematic way, you can generate any business that you want. Doing that on repeat will win every time. If it's not working, one of those are missing. And a lot of well-meaning coaches, they struggle to identify the real reason why something's not working. This is often why coaching and support is so essential, because everyone has roadblocks and everyone has blind spots. Now, some of the things that you can do right now, if you're trying to work on this on your own, is identify the plan. Go back to the plan. Go back to the step-by-step protocol. Get clear on the metrics that you're going to be measuring and get clear on identifying what each metric actually means. Because so many times my clients will say, oh, this post isn't working. And when I ask them how I know that, how do they know that? They kind of fumble like, well, it doesn't have any views or engagement. But then when I go and look at the post, the intention behind it was to drive more customers. And more content that is intended for more customers often doesn't have as much engagement. Think about it. When was the last time that you interacted with an ad? Doesn't mean you didn't buy or that it didn't matter or that it wasn't important. It's just the intention for the creation is not the same. Therefore, the outcome is not often the same. I see this a lot with coaches who are trying to make the secondary gain in their offers be the main gain. And then that's often when things don't work. So here's an example. When someone says, oh, I just want more confidence, but then you create a confidence course and no one buys. Another example is when someone says, oh, I want more energy, but what they really want is body composition. So then you create a 7-day protocol to get more energy and no one buys. But then there is another case where people will want they really want more energy because they're in the health market and they literally are having autoimmune symptoms, or they have thyroid symptoms and they're like completely depleted after sleeping for 14 hours, but their hair is also falling out and they're just like, I don't care what my body composition looks like. I just want to feel healthy and have more energy. That's a different market. So it's not that things are wrong or bad. It's just about you getting clear on what the real market is that you're going after and give them what they want. Give them what they want. You'll show them what they need along the way, but you need to give them what they want. But when you're clear on those components, then we can start putting in together that strategic, profitable plan. The one that is going to create urgency in an evergreen model without the pressures of launching. So when you go back to those questions and you ask, how do you make that airtight argument from taking someone who's never heard of you before to seeing that they need this and that they need this now? How do you do that? Well, you do it with your conversion content, but it starts, in my opinion, from the plan. So what I like to have my clients do and what I like to do is I like to create a yearly plan and then I chunk it down into quarters because that's the fiscal year. And because it's easy to get trapped in this cycle of never doing anything, meaning, oh, I'm just always in the planning, I'm always in the prepping, I'm always in the creating and never in the promoting. And then I like to chunk it down from quarterly into monthly, into weekly, into daily so that I know exactly what I need to be doing every single day, what I need to be doing when I don't feel like it, what I need to be doing at the bare minimum in order to reach my goals. Because at the end of the day, it comes down to numbers. Now, I know that those numbers are people on the other side. So I just want to give that disclaimer. I also want to give the disclaimer that magic is possible, that you can set intentions, that you can have the best of opportunity. Like, this is the plan. It reminds me of that Harry Potter scene where, if you're not a Harry Potter fan, then just bear with me. But at the end, spoiler alert, at the end of the movie, they're like, we get to go to Hogwarts. And then Hermione's like, we need to plan. And Harry's like, we plan. We get there. It all hell breaks loose. And they just go crazy. It's a great scene. But anyway, it's a little bit of what this can feel like, right? But it's not either or. It's not like, oh, I need to set intentions and then just let the magic happen. It's both. It's always both. It's always a combination of both. We need to have the balance where it's, okay, here's the plan. This is how I think we're going to get there. And then magic's going to happen. And so for us and for my clients, I like to help them create macro and micro cycles based on their intentions of their goals. So this is a real life behind the scene look on February 2nd of looking at what we do inside of V Simpson Fitness. Okay. So typically what I like my people to do, first of all, is the year goal is for us $1 million. I really like to make it 3 million. So, or like 2.2 million, 2.2 to 3 million. Okay. Now I know that might sound crazy to so many of you who are like, wait. I'm just trying to get to those 10K months. Okay. So it doesn't matter. I'm using $1 million. You use 100,000. It doesn't matter. Then the proportion for the money or the numbers doesn't really matter. But the percentages, the performance metrics, those are the ones that matter. So for us, I really focus on Instagram. I focus on podcast. We're kind of incorporating YouTube now so we could do stuff like this where we can share screen. And I focus on my emails. My emails, those are where those magic is going to be. Okay. And when you can do this in a semi-automatic way so that you can go on vacation while your emails are firing off, while your content is firing off. And the only way that you're going to do that is through a plan, because plan time to make time. It's just like meal prepping. It's just like what you do probably for yourself or for your client. And it doesn't mean that you have to be so strategic and they have to eat every single thing or you have to work on everything. But when you put it into your calendar, when you know this is what I'm moving towards, it's much easier to really cultivate and create that customer journey, especially when you're on an evergreen model, because evergreen meaning it is something that they can purchase every single day. Or it also means people are going through their own personal launch. So like an automated launch. All a launch is a presentation of an offer with a deadline. Because if you've ever noticed how people make buying decisions, even when you were in the gym, did you ever notice that the closing day, the last day of the month, whether it was a Tuesday or a Wednesday, the only difference was the fact that it was closeout and there was some arbitrary deadline. So when you're in an evergreen model, there are things that you can do to cultivate and create deadlines that are real, not fake. In fact, it goes against FTC guidelines. If you are faking that you're really there and you're not, that is against FTC guidelines. That is misleading marketing. We don't want to do that. We want it to be real. We want it to be honest. And so the ways that you can do this are things like, that's why people like programs like Deadline Funnel exist, because you can set it where, hey, you're going through your own personal launch at your own personal time, and you have 90 to 6 months of time before you can get access to that deal again. You see this happen a lot in brick and mortars. Now, that tends to not, and when I say brick and mortars, I mean, like, haven't you ever bought a pair of jeans or bought a pair of leggings and then the next week they go on sale and you're like, you see that a lot, right? And so because of that feeling, I don't tend to do that. I don't tend to be like, okay, you get it on sale, and then in a week you get it on sale. I actually come from the opinion that health and wellness professionals specifically already undervalue their products and services. So I don't really particularly love to create discount. I think of it more as what is the value that you can put in that's 10 times worth the asking investment, that you know it's going to be there, and then pre-sale it. I like to do those kinds of things more so than I like to, okay, I need a cash infusion, let me put this on sale. I don't like to do that. Okay. So when you're setting up an evergreen model and you're looking at your 90-day quarter, so for us, okay, so first of all, you need to look at what your offers are. So I have the accelerator, I have a done for you service, which I'm considering a VIP days, and I'm also thinking of putting together at the end of this year a mastermind. I also have a bunch of front end offers like Get Clients Now, 90 days done for you content, the profit booster, and then my free stuff for like FitBiz Bootcamp conversion content, the 10K blueprint, simple scaling. Now, these things that I have, let me just tell you right now, they are years of work and assets that I have accumulated over time. Now, if I were just starting out, I would have one premium offer, I would have one freebie offer, and I would have one low ticket offer. This is what I teach my accelerators to have. So that either they're driving traffic directly to a low ticket offer, a passive program, or they're driving people to a free experience with a passive program, low ticket offer on the back end. One of my clients, when she implemented that process, she used Facebook ads to bring 400 people into her free challenge, but her Facebook ads were zero. Why? Because she had a $7 low ticket offer to enhance that experience, which offset her ads. This is how you scale and how you scale faster. And this is also how you stop attracting freebie seekers who are just trying to pick your brain, and instead people who are ready to invest in themselves. They don't have to invest thousands of dollars. Because here's the truth of the matter, especially in our economic state. You have a small percentage of people that are going to be your ideal client. Now, that doesn't mean that, oh my gosh, that means I have to not have high ticket. High ticket is dead. None of that is true. It's more that in order to hit your goals, especially if it's 100K, 200K, even a million, you need about 10 to 100 people to buy a premium offer. That's it. And there are 8 billion people on this planet. You need 10. And so we use a front end offer, free and low ticket, so that you can get to the masses. Because if you want to be number one in your niche, you need to be the most visible. Growth comes down to visibility, value, and volume. That's what I want you to be thinking about. So for us, when I'm looking at these offers and I'm looking at January, now I already closed out the performance of January, which is why it's blue. I had our targets. I knew what we needed to hit. I reviewed with the team and with myself of where we are, why that happened, and now how we're going to move into February. And it always starts with the plan. And so when I know that we're working towards bringing in 15 clients, I know that we're going to get 800. I want 800 leads and I want 200 low ticket buyers. This should yield us about 72 calls, which is our sales mechanism. Now, are calls the only way? No, I just think they're the fastest way. It's a lot easier for people to get lost in the sauce in those big one-to-many groups. It's also easier for people to get lost in the sauce and slower in the DMs and the emails. Do they work? Yes. Do I have templates for that? Yes. Do I use that? Also, yes. I've just found a call to be the fastest. This is also an opportunity for you to actually connect with your buyers, especially if you do what we do and you invite people into a call who's bought from you. These are buyers. These are the people I like to survey. These are the people that I like to get my advice from and then my direction from, because these are people that are saying yes to themselves and they're saying yes to your process. Because when was the last time you went into the restaurant and demanded that they give you a free piece of food or any food before ordering? Or Barnes and Nobles and got a book, or any other program, or go to the doctor's office, or any type of service. Sure, sometimes. And people think that this means that I'm being harsh or that I'm not a service. No, in fact, if you went and worked for a nonprofit, the two most important things that you need are resources, so time and money. You would fundraise and get volunteers. That's what you would be doing. And so when you have a healthy profit margin in your business, it's so that you can help more people, because creating content, doing this podcast, doing this YouTube, it's not free. It's time, energy, effort. I have a team that I pay to help create these assets. And in order for me to help more people, the business needs more resources, time, energy, effort, money. It's so that I can help more people. So I want to offer that to you too, especially if you're feeling like, I don't want to be sleazy. I don't want to constantly beg, so on and so forth. I don't want to get into the energy of begging for clients. Okay, so now for us, when I know that those are my offers, and I know that those are the things that I'm working for, I have KPIs. Like, I want to make sure I post once a day. I want to make sure I've got 40 emails per month. And what are the emails that I like to do? Well, I like to start with 3 times a week: belief shifting, results in advance, and case study. Because what I'm doing is I'm moving people through those 4 questions and asking, okay, am I shifting their perspective? Because everyone is operating from mistakes and misconceptions. Am I demonstrating and showing them how the process works, and then backing it up with case studies to demonstrate it? That's what I start with. Okay. Then I like to have at least 1 offer forward email per month, or per week, depending on the offers. And this also depends on what the offers actually are. So the process of this podcast started with the question of, how do I create an omnipresence? How do I create urgency? Well, my program Accelerators is not infinitely scalable, meaning I can't, at the capacity of what we do and the level of value that we bring into evaluating the implementation components, we cannot have 100 clients just come in every month. There's a cap. So that is one way that you create urgency. The second way that you create urgency is through real life deadlines. Like, for example, in Club, this month in Club, we're really working on generating this omnipresence. So I have like a $3 million calendar of emails that really is going to show you step by step how to create this omnipresence in less time. That's what we're working on in February. So it's about leads. And then in March, we're going to move towards converting those leads in the DM, email, and in the sales conversation. And so I have a plan for what, if you want to participate and be part of that is the promotional schedule. And so that's what I'm really looking at. So first I'm making a decision on, well, what are the goals? And then I need to reverse engineer it just from the lens of, okay, so if that's the goal, then this is what I'm working towards, and these are the components that need to be set up. And then I need volume, I need to share, and I need to tell people more about it. And I want to invite you to do the same thing. And then we need to measure performance. And most people miss this. You look at those metrics of, okay, well, I said I was going to do this. Did I do it? Did I do it? Why or why not? Like, binary action. Did I do it? Yes or no? What was in the way? What needs to get removed? Is it a capacity thing? Do I need to hire more people? Do I need to make the people I already have more effective? Okay. Those are the things that I'm asking myself, and asking and inviting you to ask yourself when you're looking at your calendar and your promotions. Then I like to do 2 times per month a front end push. So if a buyer is going to purchase like 90 days, then there's also going to be Canva templates and Reels resources and other low ticket offers that are going to enhance the experience of the offers that they already have. Then I like to use Dean Jackson's 9-word email at least once a month. And then I have a deadline driven promotion for the content, for Content That Converts Club. And then sometimes I like to do the referral and affiliates. Okay. And I have tons of affiliates that I'm an affiliate for, so that I could create promotions around that. And then I organize my schedule around the goals and what it is I'm wanting to promote. But it starts first with the plan and intention, because nobody goes from LA to New York without a plan, without a room. So you've got your plan, your intention, and then room for magic. And every single day, you get to ask yourself, what do I need to say? How do I need to show up today to connect with the person who needs me? That's what you're doing.